What's going on? It's Javan Johnson here. You watching episode number 125 of About 10 Minutes. How you feeling? How you doing? Can y'all believe we already more than midway through September? It's like time is flying, but it's been a good month. God has been blessing. I'm thankful. So the thing is to stay focused and keep making progress, keep moving forward. So my blog entry this past Tuesday, I was talking about keeping our confidence in Christ, and that's a very important thing. You know, it's important for us not to get caught up in our flesh and not to be led by our flesh, but to be led by Jesus Christ. Because sometimes we can want to do certain things. You know, we can feel like, okay, I need to be over here right now, or I need to be doing this. But it's important for us to rest in Jesus Christ and follow Him and do what He's called us to do. Faithfulness is an important thing, and sometimes it can get overlooked. Say, for instance, and this is just a scenario, but say, for instance, maybe God gives you an assignment and says, okay, for the next 4 to 5 months, I want you to focus on this and put your all into this. And what can happen is, initially, we can be excited, like, okay, God told me to do this, and so we can put a lot of effort into it. But then maybe like a week or two into it, if we're not seeing the type of results we want, our flesh can start to want to deviate and do something else. Like, okay, I don't really like what's going on right here, so I want to do something else. If God tells us to do something, it's important for us to be faithful over it and not just look at what's happening with it right now. God's ways are higher than our ways. God's thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And we don't know how God might work in a certain situation, so it's important for us to be faithful over it. It's great when you have that feeling, that peace of God, you know, where it's like you may have different things on your mind, but you can just give it to God. Because sometimes it can be very easy to try to take things into our own hands, to try to make things happen. But the thing about it is, if we just trust God and we're being led by God, we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff because we know that God is in control. And so it's important for us to be faithful to what He's called us to do. And with that being said, faith without works is dead. So there is a work element to it. There's certain things that we do need to do, but ultimately it's about taking direction. You can look at with football. If the coach calls a certain play and he tells the quarterback, okay, I want you to run this play, but then the quarterback has the responsibility and the rest of the players have the responsibility to run that play. So they still have an assignment, but it's important for them to take that direction and obey the direction of the coach so that the proper players ran. And so in our lives, it's important for us to take that direction from God so that we're doing things the right way. Because it's like, even like with that football scenario, sometimes the coach can see potential issues that the players may not see. And likewise, God can see things that we can't see. He has insight that we don't have. So it's important for us to trust Him and to be led by Him in every aspect of our lives. And even as we're making progress and God is starting to do things in our lives and God blesses us, we don't want to lose focus on who got us there. It's important to remember, you know, that He's the one who's leading us and guiding us. And so we need to place our confidence in Him and not our own flesh. You know, the thing about it is this flesh, if it's not connected to Jesus Christ, this flesh is capable of doing all kinds of sinful things. It's capable of getting off course. And so, you know, we don't want to get off the course. We don't want to deviate from what God has called us to do. So the thing is to stay connected to Him. It's important for us to be patient, you know, throughout the different things that God has taken us through, and to have a good attitude, to remain positive. You know, it's like maybe you may think about a road trip. You know, a road trip, you're going somewhere, there's a destination that you want to get to, but sometimes along the way you may stop at different places, you may see different things. You still heading to your destination, but there's some other things you can experience along the way that will be beneficial. So I thought I'd take some time to talk about my upbringing, my childhood, my family life, things of that nature. And so before I talk about myself, I'm going to spend some time talking about my parents. So my parents have been married for over 30 years. They've been married for about 32 years. And so there's me, and then I have 2 sisters as well. So it's 3 of us all together. We grew up in a Christian household where we got lots of love, you know, and we saw our parents loving each other as well. My parents are also involved in ministry. They pastor a church. My parents have been involved in ministry for a very long time. Even before my dad became a senior pastor, my parents were involved in ministry. You know, I grew up in church. All of my siblings, we grew up in church. We was taught the word at an early age. One thing our parents did a good job at was not making us feel like we was competing with the ministry. Now, we knew God was first. We knew that God came first. As much as our parents love us, we know God comes first. So that it is what it is. But as far as like, we didn't feel like we was competing with the ministry, and they still took care of their business at home. And like I mentioned, my father's involved in ministry. It was a time where he was working like a full-time job and doing ministry as well. He was the CEO of a transportation company, and so he was doing both, you know. So it was a time where he was doing ministry and that, you know, and then it was a time where he was a senior pastor and doing that. And then my mom worked in the insurance industry. So my parents understood the spiritual application, and they also understood the natural application. And so I had good examples to learn from. And so me and my siblings get along very well. And for a while, it was me and my sister Jocelyn. And then later on, Janae came along. You know, we got lots of love and we got lots of support. support as well. You know, even for different sports we was doing, our parents came out and supported us and things of that nature, and then we even support each other too. The family unit is a beautiful thing, and growing up in that really helped shape me as the type of individual that I am. You know, the lessons I learned when I was younger, the support I got when I was younger, that helped me as I got older. Because for me, a lot of the things I was taught, you know, I was taught things at an early age, and so I knew better. I knew certain things, I just knew better at an early age. And the earlier you teach your kids things, they can just know better. And another thing is we did things together as a family. You know, we went out to eat together. We traveled to different places together, you know, and when you do that, like, it's a certain close-knitness that can come when you do those types of things. So to kind of sum things up, I mean, growing up, you know, I got love and guidance and direction at home, and so I think that's something that's very important for parents, you know, is to make sure that you give them that love and guidance and direction, and not to feel like that, okay, we have to wait till they get older. Children catch on to things very early. So we learned a lot of different things from our parents, you know, and that family unit, I mean, just being together as a family, working together as a family, it's a lot of things that you can learn. You know, it's a lot of things you can learn, you know, about each other. And so I'm thankful for those opportunities, man. I'm thankful for my parents, my siblings, the experiences that we had, you know, the memories that we had. It's like all kind of stories I can tell. If I just go into stories, I mean, I could be talking and talking and talking, and maybe one day I will go into specific stories about my childhood, relating more so to my family and stuff. Thank you for watching episode number 125 of About 10 Minutes. Have a blessed week.